Hello, filter-free America people, friends, family. Are we family? Can we consider ourselves family now? This many episodes in, are we like a family now? A filter-free America family? Do I need to make up like a silly name for our group? You know, like some podcasts do to their quote unquote fan groups, like they're the filter heads. Yeah, we're big fans of the Filter Free America podcast. We're the filter heads. We're the free guys. I don't know. That's dumb. I think you're just people. I don't know. I like that better. People. Welcome to the show, boys and girls, and whatever else people and what you choose to identify yourselves as. I don't have time to read off that long and ever-growing list, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here to the show. Real quick, let's knock out the sponsor, right? Not knock up the sponsor, because that would make things less profitable for me. We're going to knock out the sponsor. Our sponsor, as you know, is simplewebsite.us. 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 That is where you go if you are attempting to build a Squarespace website and you would like some assistance in doing it. And I get it. I know everybody thinks building a website in Squarespace is super easy. And for the most part, for those of average intelligence and whatever, probably is, right? Or for those who have lots of free time, probably is easy, right? But that's not everybody, right? Some of you have, lots of responsibilities. Kids, gross. You got, multiple jobs, whatever. You don't always have time to sit down and do that. Sometimes you just want to say, you know what? Hey, I just want to turn this work over to a professional, right? A professional, a pro, right? Let them do it so I can maintain these other projects I've got going on. And that's just, something I can do, right? And that's what you can do with simplewebsite.us. You go to the website, you make contact with them, right? You find out what they can offer, what they can do, and they can do everything, right? Once you do that, you just let them do it. And then boom, boom, bang, bang, whatever sounds of building a website make. Like there's probably like a saw sound, some hammering and some nails and whatever. Then your website's done. And you were like, you're good, right? And then that's over with, right? Doesn't that feel better than just having to sit there and figure it out yourself? Yeah. Especially for somebody like myself who's not a big fan of computers, not fluent in using them, and would much rather have somebody else do it because they're going to do it much faster, right? That's my issue, whatever, right? But it's not just for people who want to do it completely or want them to do it completely on their own. No, you can go to simplewebsite.us right now and get some free stuff, right? You can go there right now. They have free resources available, like a list of tips just to make the building process easier. They have some video courses that you could watch, and that's just there for free. You just go there and get it free of charge, right? You don't even have to, if you want to get some additional help on top of that, you don't have to go all the way out. You can get just a little bit of help, right? Like if you're just stuck on one little small component of building your website, you can just say, hey, can we use your screen share support technology? And you kind of guide me through this step of it. Can I just get that? And they'll be more than happy to do that as well too. They work with you like that. They're good people over there. Very helpful. They know what they're doing. They have some great ideas if you're looking for ideas, just to help you, package your message and your products and everything on your website and convey that message to your audience or your potential customers or whatever. So. As soon as you're done with this episode, you want to listen to the episode first, go to simplewebsite.us right after, check them out, see what they got going on. Support them because they are supporting us. What else we got going on here? We got a new episode there. Thank you guys. Let me just do this. Thank you guys. The last 3 weeks have been amazing as far as listenership and growth of people following and supporting the podcast. Had some pretty, big episodes come out that it grabbed a lot of attention, and after they did, you guys stuck around, and I can see the the metrics that I'm able to track, as far as listenership and where all those listeners are coming from, it's growing. The last 3 weeks have just basically doubled. Every the last 3 weeks, the numbers just doubled from the week before. So it's exciting to see. When Filter Free America was a podcast before, when we started it back in 2010, right? We eventually built up to we're getting multiple thousands of hits per episode. But it didn't happen at the rate that it's happening now. So that tells me that there's some fans of the podcast before who have found us again and hanging out, and or maybe I'm just getting better at promoting it or something, or maybe it's just making a better product now. Who knows? Whatever it is, whatever that combination is, thank you guys for checking out. I'm honestly working very, very hard on this podcast because it's something that I'm proud of, that I'm creating. And I want it to be a quality deal. So the response, it seems, is positive, and you guys are enjoying it. And I guess since we're on that, if you want to email me and either tell me that you like the podcast, what you like about the podcast, you have questions about the podcast, suggestions, anything, right? Could be negative too. Maybe you don't like something, whatever. Feel free to email me at filterfreeamerica@gmail.com. Filterfreeamerica, America misspelled intentionally with a K, @gmail.com. And you can send every kind of email correspondence, picture. You can, scan a picture of your dick, send that to me. Whatever. You can do it right there. The whole deal, right? And eventually, once the website gets up, finished building, which, God, it should be here anytime. Again, it's all me. I'm just waiting on the artist to get the new logo images together. The website, simplewebsite.us, they're building it for me. They're just waiting on the images. They're like, hey, we're ready to go. Where's your stuff? We're, okay, slow down, boys. We're getting it. Then it's going to be up. And then once that's available, then you can just go to my website, and that'll be an easier way to email me. You just go there and hit the contact button or whatever. But as of right now, if you want to send an email right now, just send it to filterfreeamerica@gmail.com. America misspelled with a K. Send all your complaints and crap there. Also, if you're a listener, if you're enjoying the show, I've got to do this, and I'm probably going to be doing this for every episode to eternity. Please make sure you've subscribed on your podcast outlet of choice, whether it be Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, whatever. Please hit the subscribe button so you get alerts to all the new episodes as they come out. Also, if whatever rating and review process your particular podcast outlet offers, if it's a star rating and written review, please do that. That's all very helpful as far as getting more exposure for the podcast, more interactions, more, whatever. Please do all that for me. Take the time to do that. Even a short little thing. Hey, I enjoy the podcast. Keep up the great work. Something simple like that and a written review is awesome. Hit that star rating thing, max it out if it's stars or whatever. It's super helpful stuff. So yeah, appreciate that. All right, real quick, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about in the interview today. Our guest is a returning guest from the Filter Free America, the original podcast when we were out before. So if you're a listener from before, you might remember this guest, and we may talk about some of the things we talked about before, but there's a lot of new information in here because some pretty big things happened in the guest's life, since that recording. So basically this, we're redoing that original interview is the word. There's the word I'm trying to think of. Sorry. Interview. And get up to date with him and also learn all the new stuff. The guest is Andrew Henderson. If you don't know who Andrew Henderson is, Andrew Henderson is a Cop Blocker activist. He's a bunch of other things, but we're specifically talking about his work in Cop Block activism. And he is also another one of those guys who's gotten a little bit of national and international fame to this point because of the work that he's done in cop blocking activism. He's made the news multiple times in some of the things that he's done, some on a small scale, some on a much larger scale that we're definitely going to talk about. So yeah, he's been doing this for quite a few years. Ever since I've known him, he's been doing this, and he's very dedicated to the cause. If you don't know what a cop blocker is, we're going to get into it in greater detail. But essentially, it's somebody who monitors the activities of police as they're doing their job and helps hold them accountable to make sure they're doing their job correctly and not violating the law or violating anyone's constitutional rights in the process. But again, we'll go into more, the minutiae and the finer points of that in the interview. What else are we going to cover in that? We're going to talk about, again, what is cop blocking? We'll give you a more of a defined answer. He's going to tell us ways to do it properly. He actually teaches courses on it. Yeah. We'll talk about some of his most successful cop blocking, spit the words out, cop blocking moments. And we'll probably end on what I consider, and everybody considers, I guess, the home run of cop blocking was he actually got a cop to step down and quit because he was going to get fired if he didn't, for basically attempting to instruct people how to commit crimes and get away with it. And I'm not giving anything away by saying that. You got to stick into the end of the episode to get the greater details of that. But that was what was actually happening. A cop was trying to instruct other, citizens on how to commit crimes and get away with it. And that cop apparently didn't know that Andrew Henderson was, somewhere nearby monitoring his activities. And so we get into that. So hopefully every question that you ever had about cop blockers, what they are, who they are, what they do, and why they do it, hopefully will be covered in this episode here. So we'll do that. But as always, we need a name for this episode. Got to come up with a clever name. We're talking to our buddy, our friend, my friend. It's going to be your friend too, Andrew Henderson. So I got to think of a name. Let me think about that for a minute. Let me tell you his website real fast. If you want to find out more of his work, and he does all kinds of activism type work, and we'll reference some videos that he does and all that. But to find out more information about Andrew, his cop blocking stuff, links to the videos, to everything else, go to his website, and that's the Drooks, and thedrooks.com. And that's THE, the Drewks, DREWKS.com. So THEDREWKS.com. And I will try to include that in the episode description. So there's a quick way you can reference that, because it's might be difficult just to know how to spell it just by me saying it. But thedrooks.com is his website, and you can find, that's the best way to contact him and everything that he does through that website there. All right, what are we going to call this episode? Andrew Henderson, he's a cop blocker. He's doing things. He's doing cop blocking for good. Oh, here we go. Let's make a mockery of a common police phrase in the process. Okay, so this episode, the title of this episode is going to be Cop Blocking to Protect and Serve. Cop blocking to protect and serve. You like that? You see what I did there? Very clever, right? Cop blocking to protect and serve with my guest, Andrew Henderson, right here on Filter Free America. Let's go. Okay, so start by telling me and the audience, what the hell is cop blocking?
Well, cop blocking is people watching the police through means of filming. This helps create an objective record of what the police are doing. It keeps an eye on the police for a few reasons. One, to make sure they're not doing anything they shouldn't be doing, and to just create that record of what's going on during that interaction, that police-citizen interaction, whether good or bad. I mean, it's just to create that record, and it also helps prevent bad things from going on, from any misconduct going on, because nobody wants to look bad on camera.
Right.
People are a lot less likely to behave poorly if they know they're being watched. That's police, citizens, everybody.
It's the whole theory. That's why we have security cameras, right?
Exactly.
That's why they tell you that, you go to the store, they like to tell you, hey, we got security cameras, smile, because they much rather that, because you're not going to steal when you know you're being recorded. Is it I'm going to ask this in the voice of somebody who doesn't like cop blockers. Well, you're interfering with the duties of police officers. You're putting their lives in danger. You're making it harder for them to do their jobs. What do you say to that?
I say that's absolutely preposterous. I mean, if you can't do your job while on camera, you should find a different job. I mean, if you look at people that work in retail or even a gas station.
Oh, that's a good point.
I mean, if you go to a gas station, they're always on camera, yet they can still do their job. Cop blocking is not interfering. It's not being right there. It's not pushing the officer. It's not assaulting the officer or verbally abusing the officer. It's simply holding a camera. And if you can't do your job while someone's holding a camera 20 feet away from you, you should find a different profession.
Especially if you're in porn. Like, if you can't do that job,
exactly,
with a camera, you can't do it or whatever. That's an argument, and I've had these debates with lots of people, and that's really good. You're right.
Sure. I mean,
who doesn't do their job on camera?
Right. I mean, I'm a welder, and they
Right.
have cameras inside the shop I work at. It doesn't hinder me from doing my job. I don't even notice it. And if I do, I'm still going to do the same job. I'm going to do a great job regardless if I'm on camera or not.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to add that to my my arsenal of arguments for that. That's a really good point. Is there like a rule though? I mean, what are your standards of a good cop blocking then? What if you're a good cop blocker? What are you doing? Is there distance? Is there I don't know what's going through your mind. An event happens. Say, well, I'll put you in a scenario. You're walking down the street. You've got your camera on. You're ready to go because you're always prepared. And you see a couple officers have somebody detained. Take me through the steps. What are you doing?
Sure. Well, in a situation like that, I don't know what's going on. Right. First of all, so I'll approach the situation with caution. I'll stand back about 20 feet or so.
Okay.
And I usually let the people being detained know that I'm there to monitor the situation for their benefit. Okay. I make sure I let them know that I'm not trying to record them. I'm trying to record the police. I don't care what they did. I'm not an adversary to them. I just want to create a document just in case something goes bad. Some kind of documentation. But yeah, I'll stand back about 20 feet and I just don't say anything. No bright lights. I just stand there with my camera and just watch. It's really not that complicated. But okay. but I always approach them as I don't know what's going on.
Do you ever have somebody getting arrested say, "I don't care, don't film me"?
Sometimes I've come to situations like that where someone's like, "I don't want to be on camera." I'm still going to stand there. I'm going to watch that interaction, just in case they do need a witness.
Right.
An objective witness. I can be there to say, "Hey, this is what I saw."
Right. I would imagine it's probably like based on the crime. Like if you're filming and like they're arresting like a priest or something and they don't want to be filmed, pretty sure it's fingering kids.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. Like, yeah.
I mean, and usually I won't shut the camera off. I'll just hold it at my side to make them feel, a little more comfortable and still let them know, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here to support you, not to, belittle you or try to put you on, the news. You're
not trying to get hits on YouTube. Just,
right.
Somebody getting beat up by the police, and you're not going to scream "World Star" when you get punched in the face.
Exactly.
Anything like that. Which that would be kind of funny, though.
Right. And I mean, not everything needs to go on YouTube.
Right.
I mean, there's if nothing happens, why put that on YouTube? And it serves no purpose for the public or that person or
it'd be anything. A boring video too.
It would be a boring video. Yeah.
Can you tell me what the definite law is about filming police? Because there's a back and forth still, and like I think I know what it is, but what is the absolute honest to goodness law about filming police? What are you legally allowed to do? What are the legal limitations or whatever as far as law goes when you're filming cops?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people have that question that are interested in filming the police. The law is you can film the police all you want in any public area or your own private property. If they're out in the street, you can film them. You can film anything you want out in the street. if it's a police officer, if it's a firefighter, or if it's just your run-of-the-mill average Joe. If it's in public, you can film it.
Okay. So all these videos I've seen where cops say, no, you can't film or you can't do that, those cops are just flat out, they're lying.
They're lying.
Or they don't know the law, which is completely possible.
They could not know the law, but most of the time believe that they are lying. They just don't want to be filmed. They don't want to be caught doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Gotcha. So why cop blocking? Why did this become important to you? What inspired you to want to do this? What was your...
Well, about a decade ago, I was living in the North End area of St. Paul, and there was a gentleman by the name of Eric Hightower walking down the street. Now this wasn't this wasn't the best gentleman in the world. I mean, he had quite the criminal rap sheet. Everybody in the area knew him, but a cop stopped him and pepper sprayed him. And I don't know if you've ever been pepper sprayed, but when you get pepper sprayed, your eyes water, you're gagging. It feels like you might throw up. Your nose is running. And this gentleman was on the ground coughing and hacking up a lung. And the police officer came up and kicked him square in the chest. One of the neighbors caught that on their cell phone camera. Wow. And it ended up on the news that night. And at that point...
And for clarification, yes. Kicked him in the chest. And he wasn't fighting.
He wasn't fighting.
The only thing he was
resisting.
Fighting was just to fight to breathe.
Right. His face was towards the ground. I mean, he was hunched over, and just coughing. There was no threat to the officer at that point whatsoever.
Okay.
A neighbor recorded that on their cell phone. It ended up on the news that night, and it just clicked in my brain that this is the way to hold police officers accountable. It shows actually what happened. No matter what the police say, no matter what the person being detained or arrested said, the video cannot lie. And that's when I started carrying a camera and filming police. When I first started out doing this, I was more, scared to do this. I mean, I felt like it was something I had to do because of my community and how much I cared about the people that lived in my community. But I wasn't ready to go out there and be right in the action at the time. So it was more like I filmed from my car. I filmed out my window. And I mean, if you look back, the Rodney King video, that was filmed out of somebody's window.
Right.
I mean, little steps like that. I mean, anything that a person can do to hold police accountable is good, in my opinion.
That's right. That's like that person who filmed that Rodney King. That's like the OG cop blocker.
That is
right?
the OG cop blocker.
I can't think of another significant one case.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what started it all right.
Do we know who that is?
That
should be like in your cop blocking museum. That should be like your granddaddy cop blocker.
I really can't remember the gentleman's name, but I mean, I'm glad he did that. I mean, I
it was probably like one of those big like howitzer ride on your shoulder VHS cameras.
Yes. The what was that? That was the early 90s.
Yeah,
that happened. Yeah, so it must have been one of those giant cameras, the giant battery pack.
Holy shit.
And that pretty much started it all right there. That person, and
like back in the day, like before cameras, you cop block by sketching. You just had to sketch your fucking.
Yeah, I mean, when cop watch and cop block really started out,
mm-hmm.
It really has its roots in California.
Okay.
And people would be out there writing notes on a notepad.
Oh, I'm joking, but that's what's going on.
Yes,
they're actually taking notes.
That's how it started out. I mean, people just writing notes because people couldn't afford cameras.
Right.
I mean, cameras were thousands of dollars back then. They weren't built into cell phones like we have now.
This is like during the times of like the Rampart scandal and all that stuff, and where LA was just, it probably still is, let's be honest, just a notorious cesspool as far as policing goes.
Right. Like, well, Oakland's kind of like ground zero for cop blocking, cop watching.
Okay.
That's really where it all started. That's where everybody really traces their roots back to. And yes, it was just regular community members writing down things on pieces of paper, just to record what was going on in their communities.
Is that just something that just happened within the community, like something that they just knew to do?
Yeah,
or was it like
a
movement? Was it something organized?
It was more like community defense at that point in time, because the police would just come in and rough off people, do whatever they wanted, and the people had to organize within themselves.
See, that's crazy. I hope people are taking time to appreciate that.
Definitely. Yeah.
That these people needed to organize to protect themselves from the law enforcement that's tasked with protecting them.
Isn't that crazy?
The next layer was something we talked about pre-recording, was they're funding this. So they have to figure out ways, devise ways to protect themselves, insulate themselves from something that they're funding that's a danger to them. Right. Oftentimes can be a danger to them. Again, don't want to, alienate every single cop. Sure, right. There's, one or two good ones out there. That's a lot to... I never even considered like the history of that, the lineage of cop blocking and the idea of it and all that. So is that like the more formal cop blocking that we know, the organized movement of cop blocking? Were they inspired by that? Some of the groups and people that you learn from? Is there, when some of the older history of what you're talking about from Oakland, is this, kind of where this idea came from, or how did this come about? Where was the whole idea of it, the organization element of it? Where did this come about from?
It's just developed over time all over the country through a very loose network of activists, sharing ideas, sharing experiences. I mean, people moving around, people figuring out better ideas. There are actually now Cop Watch conferences going on. I went to one in the Bronx, New York, a few years ago, and you would not believe how many activists were out there just sharing ideas and expanding, knowledge of each other. Before that, it was pretty much just all, just people interacting with each other during normal day life, or finding each other through some kind of means. I mean, this was before the internet, so you didn't have the Twitter to find people, or Facebook, or even MySpace.
Right.
I mean, this predates all that. It's just people somehow linking up with each other. It was just chance. It really was to share these ideas.
Holy cow.
I'm sure that there were some kind of zines or something like that out there that promoted these ideas, but that was well before my time.
Right. Well, you had an actual arrest and trial resulting from a cop blocking incident that we're going to get to, but is there in the history of cop blocking, is there a one significant or one or two significant cop blockers that were arrested that maybe changed law or set precedents as far as what's legally allowed to go down, or has this always been legal, or was there any significant case to draw from that?
So Glick v. Cuniff was the deciding factor.
Glick versus who?
Cuniff.
Cuniff.
Cuniffe.
Okay. That
went to the United States Appeals Court. There was a gentleman that was filming an arrest. He was a law student. He was filming an arrest. The police came up, took away his phone, and arrested him for wiretapping.
Oh, I've heard about this. Okay.
Yes, and
wiretapping.
That's what people. That's what the cops would get people on for recording them, is wiretapping, violating the wiretapping laws.
Wait, is that a misdemeanor? Is that a felony? What is that? We know what that is?
I think it varies state to state.
Right.
I think in that state it was a felony, and he was going to law school at the time, and that would have just completely screwed up his entire career.
But he must have known better, right? He knew.
Right. He wasn't going to law school.
Yeah.
So he fought this.
It wasn't like me, because if that was me, I got arrested. Why? Oh, okay.
Right.
I guess I'm wiretapping.
Right.
Right.
I mean, he was found guilty in state court, went to the appeals court, and they said, no, everybody has the right to film public officials in a public place engaged in their official duties. That is what solidified our right under the First Amendment of the Constitution to film police officers.
Gotcha. Is there any gray area at all that at times that you can't film police in the public doing their business? Like if they're, I'm trying to think of a scenario. Maybe they're sneaking into a house, they have a warrant or something like that, and you can't film it because it violates their, they're trying to use stealth, nothing like that.
No, I mean you can film them doing anything in a public place. I mean you could really even film them at an accident scene, if you really wanted to. I don't find that as a good thing to do, but you could.
Right.
I mean it's that broad that you can film them anytime they're in public.
Right. Well, I understand why you wouldn't want to. I mean, for the the respect, especially somebody dead or injured at a scene. But you look at it. There's been more than a handful of cases of cops caught stealing things from dead bodies, at scenes of accidents, and that's absolutely true. So maybe they do need to film those as well too. So give me examples of what in your arsenal of cop blocking activism tactics. What are your go-to things that you do when you're cop blocking? What are you doing?
I basically just monitor the scene to make sure everything's going on. I don't try to focus on the individual. I focus on the officer or officers on the scene. I'll pan that camera. I'll make sure that I record every number of every squad car, and I'll even say the squad car numbers or badge numbers. I'll narrate the entire thing that's going on. I'll be like, I walked up on this scene. There's 2 individuals detained. Officer like Johnson, he is here in squad number 127, or officer, and officer whatever is here in squad whatever, and I'll make a note of it. I'll show street signs if I can, any kind of landmarks, like if there's a fast food place, I'll make right in front of this fast food place on whatever road, and I'll pretty much just narrate the scene. I'll just stand there and just record. And there are little tips and tricks to do this too. Like you can zoom in. Like if you're zooming in on a badge, you don't need to hold it there for 5 minutes trying to get that badge. All you need is a couple seconds. You can go back to that later on and figure out that badge. Yeah, figure out what that badge number is. Otherwise, you're wasting time and you might not catch something that's going on. I always look around you. Even go side to side, even if nothing's going on this side to side. It's nice to know nobody's sneaking up on you. And there's other things like oftentimes police officers will tell you to back up, and I'll ask them, how far back do you want me to move? And they'll sometimes they'll give me a landmark to go off of, or sometimes they'll just say back up, and I'll just put the camera down on my feet, and I'll record my feet backing up, so it shows that I'm following their command. Yeah. That I'm not just
you're complying. You're not causing a problem.
And I'll vocalize that too. I'll say, yes, officer, I'm backing up to a reasonable distance. You have to follow their commands to a point. I mean, if I was recording and a police officer told me to back up and I said how far, and they said 2 blocks away, I would say no. That's not reason. That's not a reasonable distance. If they said another 10 feet, yeah, that's probably reasonable.
Is there a law that governs that part of it?
No.
Okay. So it's just kind of a gray area.
Yes.
So it's best just to kind of use a little bit of common sense.
Right.
You don't want to be standing over the top of them, and you don't want to.
Right. I mean, use common sense and do what you feel comfortable with. I'm not going to tell you, be there, 10 feet away so you get everything if you're not comfortable with that, because that's going to put, someone else in a position that they're not comfortable with. They might make mistakes and they might end up in jail themselves or, cited for something. Whenever I tell people that are new to cop blocking how to do it, I say do what you're comfortable with. If it's 20 feet, fine. If it's 30 feet, fine. If you just want to sit in your car, that's fine too.
Something's better than nothing.
Something's better than nothing.
Have you ever got extreme with your equipment yet? Are you doing drones yet?
I am not doing drones. I would love to do
Is anybody
drone
cop blocking?
There are people. I've been down to St. Louis with We Cop Watch down there.
Okay. And
they have drones, and it's absolutely amazing. I mean, they are fantastic people down there, and I mean they have some resources and a lot of support.
So again, using the example of somebody stopped at the scene, how does that change how they film, and what do they do differently with a drone? Is it just, are they literally flying the drone over the top of the scene and just...
Yeah, exactly, just like that. I mean,
how do cops react to that?
Cops will shine their lights at it. That's pretty much all they can do. They'll either shine their flashlights at it, or the lights on their squad car. They'll try to direct it at the drone, and they'll like follow the drone. If you move the drone around, they'll move their squad car. You know, like the little spotlight on the side of the squad car. They'll move that along with the drone. They'll try to block that view. It's really interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah, because that shows everything. You know, it shows the squad car number, which is usually on top of the squad car. It shows where the people are. I mean, it's a much better view than just standing on the street with a cell phone or a camera.
Here's another question. Again, same kind of scenario type events. Have you ever been filming and they just maybe kind of forgot that you were there? And we're going to talk about some other examples where some actual result of your work did some significant changes. But were they just kind of lost you and just stopped, acknowledging that you were there, and you picked up something that they didn't want you to pick up, or either filming, or they changed, or maybe they did realize you were there and immediately changed how they were doing, how they were acting or dealing with the suspect or whatever?
I don't think I've ever had it where I picked up something that they didn't realize I picked up, or that someone did something wrong when they didn't realize that I was there. But I have seen attitudes change dramatically.
Both good and bad, right?
Yeah, mostly for the good. I mean, if they have someone detained, someone shows up with a camera. Most police officers don't want to be on camera. They don't want to end up on YouTube. They don't want to end up in a viral video. So they're most likely to let someone go, or to actually treat them like a decent human being. I've shown up at where people have gotten pulled over, and I show up with that camera, and that officer did not want to be on camera at all. So they let that person go and got out of there as quick as possible.
Really?
So I like little things like that can save your community members tickets. Just if I'm going down the street and I see someone pulled over, I will go pull over at the next block, and I'll walk up there with
was it a fat cop that it pulled out?
No,
didn't want to look fat on TV?
No, it's just they just don't. They're so scared right now that they're gonna look bad on YouTube, and they're gonna be the next viral video, that they just don't want to be on camera.
See, if I was a cop, I'd be like all in that shit. I'd be trying to be like the next, viral cop star. There is one funny, and I've mentioned your links to your YouTube in the intro of this interview. But one of the videos you can find on there is, and you can tell me the incident because I don't really remember what it was. But there was pretty sure it was a Minneapolis cop, maybe St. Paul cop, and you're filming him. And he does this aggressive grab of his dick and shakes his dick at you.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm not even exaggerating in the slightest, am I? I mean,
no, you're not.
Okay, so tell me about that one.
So I was actually eating pizza with my family, and I stepped outside for a quick cigarette.
Right.
And I saw a car being pulled over, so I went up to to film it.
Look at you working on your lunch break.
I know, look at that. Yeah,
Cop blocking on your lunch break.
I know. It really is an addiction once you get started doing it. And I'm just filming, and a officer pulls up on scene that recognized me. It was the same officer that killed.
You have cop fans.
I don't know if I'd call them fans, but they know who I am. It was an officer that killed an individual with a mental illness not too long ago, and I actually confronted him about that, and he didn't like that. So when he saw me on that scene, he just he walked up to me. And,
you had confronted him before or that day?
Yeah, no, I confronted him before.
Oh, okay. So.
Yes. So he remembered me. I didn't recognize him.
So it wasn't like you're confronting him this day. He's carrying a grudge with you.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
Yeah. He confronted me. I asked him for his card. I put his card in my pocket. He walked back to the car, turned back to me, and grabbed his crotch. I mean, that's the mentality of some of these these cops out there.
What was the confrontation? What did he say? What was the exchange when he first said something to you before the dick grab? Was it cordial? Was it intimidating? Was it?
Well, I think he was kind of trying to intimidate me, but it was pretty cordial. I mean, he wasn't threatening me. He wasn't swearing at me, but he wanted me to know that I was not welcome there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And again, what department was this?
St. Paul Police.
The St. Paul Police.
Yep.
I had a funny interaction similar. Well, not really similar, but a one that it felt, and it pretty clearly was, a thinly veiled threat from somebody in law enforcement. I had recently did that video where I interviewed the local journalist who did the Al Diddy story and involving Minneapolis police and suicide of a city worker. Listen to the episode if you want to know more details. Basically, it involved Minneapolis police. So, of course, me being the guy that I am, I sent a copy or a link to that episode directly to Minneapolis police via their Facebook page. And they responded, which is rare. Usually they don't. They just a little icon will pop up. They saw it and they don't acknowledge. But whoever was operating the Facebook page that day responded to me. And he sent me a question, he or she, I don't even know the sex. Maybe it wasn't even male or female. Maybe it's just a thing. But the person on the other end was I can't remember the exact question they asked me. Something about, well, what do I think that they did wrong? The Minneapolis police did wrong in the situation there. And I guess they thought I was going to be spooked or something. And I just basically had a 3-paragraph response to what I thought the Minneapolis police did wrong in this situation, why I had the feelings that I went above and beyond, and then listed 3 or 4 different incidents involving the Minneapolis police of why I have the attitudes that I have about them. And then we had a couple exchanges back and forth, but then he or she started responding back and forth, and these kind of the tone was kind of sneery, being polite, but I'm an asshole polite kind of way. But the very last thing it said was, they signed off okay, well, I guess we're done to here talking or whatever. Stay safe. But the stay safe was in bold capital letters at the end of the message. Yep. And that to me clearly is as much as of a thinly veiled threat that you're going to get. I even shared that with the cop who I did, the retired cop that I just interviewed, Chuck, and he felt the same way. He's like, yeah, that to me that feels like a thinly veiled threat to me too. He said, I can't believe that they even responded to you. Definitely, that they opened themselves up. But of course I took screenshots of all that just to keep record of it, so if my body washes up on the Mississippi one day, maybe it's that, but whatever. So aside from just filming cops at at stops and things like that, what are other cop blocking activism acts that you do?
Sure. I do a lot of warning people about road pirates up ahead, which is speed traps.
Right.
If I see a speed trap going on, I'll park 6 blocks before the speed trap, and I always carry this sign in my trunk of my car that says "Cop ahead." Yes. I mean, I've had this sign for a few years now. I made this sign one day because I saw a speed trap happening. I was like, I gotta shut this down. So I grabbed a piece of cardboard out of somebody's recycling bin. I had a marker in my car, and I just made the sign that said "Cop ahead."
Right.
I stood out there, and I saved a lot of people a lot of money that day. And eventually that cop just went away.
Did that cop, he or she, did they ever notice you doing this?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Did they have any interaction with you?
No. He just sneered at me as he drove by. That's about it. I actually did have an interaction with that cop that I first did that to.
Okay.
A few months later, he was parked on a sidewalk, just right in the middle of a sidewalk.
Illegally parked on a sidewalk? Cops break the law. Get the fuck out of here.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
Holy shit. Next thing you're going to tell me that they go into people's homes and shoot them. Does that happen too? It does, doesn't it? Only in Texas. Okay.
So he was speed trapping from the sidewalk, just parked right in the middle of the sidewalk. And there's a video on my YouTube channel of this interaction. He's sitting out there
breaking the law to enforce the law.
Breaking the law to enforce the law. Yeah, that's great. So he's got his gun out there, right? And so I walk up and I'm just looking. I just showing the car. It has no markings on it. Undercover car. Trying to give him a car number off of it, and that was a difficult task. And the cop comes out and he's like, well, why don't you get a real job? And I'm dressed in my work clothes. I just got off of work at that point in time.
Right.
I mean, I'm dirty welder clothes, and I mean it's obvious that I just got off of work.
I don't know, officer. Are they hiring at the Steal Money from Citizens Company?
Exactly. So I asked him, I was like, like if I was parked there, would I get a ticket? And he's like, well, this is my job. And I'm like, whatever.
Your
and
job's to break the law?
Yeah.
Weird.
And he eventually gets intimidated just by that camera.
Right.
And drives off.
Did he signal before he pulled off?
Oh, heck no. No, he just pulled right into the road and just drove off. Yep.
I mostly because I'm friends with you now, and I'm a little bit more hyper aware of, I've always been aware because I've come from a criminal background myself, but it's a different awareness now that I have of cops. So now I'm constantly kind of watching cops and their behaviors as far as what they're doing, and from a legal perspective. And boy, cops are some of the worst drivers, and it's probably not of ignorance, it's just probably of disregard for the law and things like that. But just if you're driving down the highway, it's easy to pace another car. Just drive your speed and see if that car is driving faster or slower than you. So lock your car, put set your speedometer or your cruise control to the speed limit, and see if that cop drives faster than you. If they don't have their lights and sirens on and they're not going to an emergency, why the hell did they get the speed down the highway like that?
Right. I don't know how many times I've seen cops, break the law, especially traffic, like you said. They don't signal, they speed. If any one of us did half the things that I see on a daily basis from police employees, we'd be pulled over and probably ticketed. Yeah. Maybe even searched,
My biggest one, and I rant about this all the time, people are probably sick of hearing it, but it's a dumb thing, but it's big to me because I like tinted windows. Is, in this state specifically, here in Minnesota, if you have a truck, an SUV, or a van, you can have as dark a tint as you want in the back windows. Passenger and driver's side door windows, you can have up to 50%. Right? Is it 50%? Or 30%? No, it's 30%. 30% on the doors, as dark as you want on the back. But if you have a car, it can only be 30% all the way around, back windows, whatever. Now, on one of my vehicles that I'm choosing not to identify right now, I have 50% tint on the back windows and 30% tint on the passenger and door windows. Technically illegal. But if you go right now, if you go to like any police station, literally any police station in this area, and I've done it, and you look in the back where the cops park their cars, I guarantee you at any given time you'll see at least one car with illegal tint back there.
Definitely. But, professional courtesy goes a long way.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Oftentimes, a cop will get pulled over and, oh, you're a cop? You're on duty? Oh, well, I'm not going to charge you for this crime that I would charge anybody else with.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous to me. And it may be small in a bigger picture, but to me, I just don't like being held to a different standard.
No.
I especially don't like being funding the people holding the standards and then they getting passing that I don't get.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm being forced to have to fund this.
Right.
That's just it bothers me. One of the things I was going to talk about, kind of with the goes along the line with you alerting speeders, is mine and your favorite GPS app. And
yes,
that's Waze.
Waze, it's an excellent app. It's a user interface where people can alert other drivers, I should say. Drivers can alert other drivers to where speed traps are located by using this GPS app. You just push a button, marks that as a speed trap. Someone's coming, coming the same way or the other way. They know where that speed trap is. Right.
And it's Waze, WAZE is to the app if you want to find it. It's not just that. It's not like an app designed just for, seeking out cops. You can put road conditions, if there's potholes, if there's what was some other things,
stalled vehicles,
slow
traffic. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it goes well beyond just alerting other.
Yeah, and it's really, I use it. I drive for a living, and that's what I use at work. As far as where it's a very functional GPS app.
Yep.
But it saved me plenty of times.
Yeah,
very, very, very reliable. You see a cop show up on there. The reason it's there is there was either a cop there before and it just hasn't expired yet. It's weird how the system works, but based on upvotes and downvotes, if the threat is still there. But it saved me countless of times from running through a speed trap or whatever.
Definitely.
So another thing I wanted you to just for the funny irony of it, tell them about the car that you drive.
I drive a former road pirate vehicle. It's a black and white police cruiser, stickers on the back. One of my favorite stickers on it says, "No victim, no crime." It's kind of a motto I live by. You know, if there is no victim, or the very likelihood of a potential victim, there's no crime. You know, you shouldn't be charged. You shouldn't be extorted your money for doing something that hurts absolutely nobody, or that has an extreme minor chance of hurting anybody.
Right.
You know, I mean, if you're driving 10 miles over the speed limit on the freeway, who are you hurting?
One of those areas I agree with you on for the most part. Mm-hmm. There's some things I kind of go back and forth.
Sure.
I speed, but I don't drive maximum speed. So I you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I get the philosophy of it, and there's a lot of laws that are enforced that, you know, result in us paying tickets and things like that are absolutely just ridiculous laws that are just put in, like the tent thing. I mean, that's
right.
and that, oh God, I hate I'm going back for that. The argument that they use for that is, oh, it's for police safety.
Sure.
Like, why the fuck is it in trucks? It's just the double standard of that law specifically. Like, oh, it's okay, it's in a truck or a van or an SUV, but it can't be in a car. I'm sorry.
No, that's I totally
personal
understand.
taste.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's tons of examples we could use, like, you know, smoking marijuana in your own home.
Right.
I mean,
smoking marijuana fucking anywhere that it's not somebody else's property or in a public space where other people who may not want it are.
Right.
Like, why can't I go to a fucking park where there's nobody else at and sit back and fucking smoke weed and throw fucking snacks to ducks? Right. That's like a perfect thing for me. I don't know. Aside from the sign holding, what's some other things that you've done?
Chalking is a wonderful thing, and that's
chalking?
Chalking is just writing messages in chalk on sidewalk to you know, educate others.
Sounds like art.
It pretty much is art, you know.
Right.
I mean, you know, you can write little slogans, websites like you could say, check out my Cop Blocking YouTube channel, and, you know, put that out there.
For a good time call. Okay, that's a different kind of protest.
You know, but I mean, that really it makes people think in a way. I mean, if you put something out there and someone walks by and reads it, you can change a mind.
Right.
I mean, it is activism. Anything you can do to help change someone's mind to further the education of somebody, that's activism. Anything.
Now you've literally done the chalking on the sidewalk leading up into a police station.
I have. There was an incident in Ramsey County where it didn't happen in Ramsey County, but it was a Ramsey County sheriff's deputy, and he was doing a training, like a training seminar with his police dog, somewhere in northern Minnesota at a casino hotel.
Oh, I remember this story.
Yes.
I talked about this on the Pardon Sin on the radio back when it happened. Yeah.
And this deputy got drunk as a skunk, I guess. Was hitting on hotel patrons, and the hotel kicked him out because of his lewd behavior.
Jeez.
And in the parking lot of the casino hotel, he picked up his dog, slammed it on the ground. This is a police dog.
There's video of this too.
There's a video of this. I mean, that's the security cameras caught all this happening. The dog tried to run away, got caught in like the vestibule doors, and the deputy came back and like manhandled the dog, hit the dog, threw the dog in his car, and drove away drunk.
There's multiple crimes that you just
multiple
described.
Crimes. No, and this is at a
Some of which
police
felonies.
Right. This is at a police dog convention.
Right.
Okay? Like, there was a lot of cops there with their dogs. Nobody stopped this guy. Nobody. Let him drive away. How insane is that?
This is a good time to remind listeners what happens if you, a citizen, attack a police dog.
Oh yeah. I mean, that'd be treated like,
if you punch, shoot, stab, whatever, a police dog, you might as well punch, shoot, stab a cop.
Right.
It's literally almost the same thing.
Yeah. It's assault on a police officer.
Right.
He didn't get charged with that. He didn't get charged with anything.
I was going to ask you what,
I shouldn't say that.
remember.
He did get charged with animal cruelty. He didn't get fired. The Ramsey County Sheriff's Office originally tried to fire him, but the union said that was too harsh. An arbitrator from the union said that was too harsh, and they had to give him his job back. And when they gave him his job back, I was outside of the Ramsey County Law Enforcement Center, chalking up their entire sidewalk.
So, do you know right now, is he still actively?
He's still actively employed by them in the jail. So he's working in the jail with
no more dogs.
No more dogs. They took away the dogs.
Thank God.
They threw him in the jail with people. This guy should not be anywhere near anybody. If they have to keep him, he should be in a basement somewhere filing records, not working with people, not checking people into jail.
Jesus Christ.
I mean,
that's crazy.
That's insane. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking.
I guess I respect the department for at least trying to fire him.
Right.
And that's one of the a lot of problems seem to come from the union. I mean,
definitely.
Especially when you talk about Minneapolis police and their
Yes.
fucking union head. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I mean, I sat out there for an hour with a couple of my friends, and we wrote our thoughts of the situation on the sidewalk outside of the Ramsey County Law Enforcement Center. We let them know what we felt, and news crews were out there. They came in, they filmed that, and we said our piece, and that was it. But it got people interested. It got some awareness of just people walking in and out of the jail, people walking by, and so chalking can do a lot. It really can. It's really an attention getter, especially if you use different color chalk.
And explain again how that's. I mean, you can go. I mean, that's city property, the sidewalk that you're on,
Right.
And what is there a specific law or something that makes that legal? Because
yes, I can't remember the law, but because it's erasable.
Right.
It's not permanent. We're not out there with spray
it's not
paint.
like spray paint. Yeah.
I mean, they take a bucket of water and it's gone, really.
Right.
Or a hose. So that's a great way to express your First Amendment right.
And it's biodegradable. It's not like
yeah.
it's not like an environmental issue because it's chalk. It's
Right. Some people still do get in trouble for it. I do have one friend, and she got I don't know if she got arrested, but she did get charged for it, and she had to go through court, and I believe it was either dismissed or she won it as a First Amendment right, and that was right here in Minneapolis.
Nice.
So our right to do that is solidified, at least here locally.
Wow. Another activism act that you did that got substantial coverage, at least, had to do with police officers and seatbelts. Mm-hmm. Why don't you tell us about that one?
Sure. So a bunch of local area law enforcement, St. Paul Police, I think the Ramsey County Sheriff, there's probably a couple more that I just can't think off the top of my head. They stood out in a corner, full uniform, and just watched for people not wearing their seatbelts. They'd radio into their buddies down the road, and their buddies would pull them over and give them tickets. And they caught like 200, 300 something people doing this in a day.
Do you remember which sting this was? Was this the one where? Because they've had some weird ones.
Yeah.
One of the grossest ones I've seen, and it's gross to me because the waste of funds using this, because the funds that they use this could go to actual help homeless people, but they had cops dressed as homeless people with signs.
Right.
And they're like, anything helps, homeless, please help. Mm-hmm. But they're actually cops.
Yeah.
And what they do is they stand on the corners and they look in your car and see if you got the seatbelt on, right. And then they radio to their buddy, hey, that guy in that car doesn't have a seat. That's so fucking gross to me.
Yeah, the Maplewood Police Department did that a number of years ago. Oh. So I remember when they did that, and I was just like, that's just wrong. That's just sick. That's... But yeah, okay, so back to the story.
Yeah.
I believe it was on University Avenue they were doing this in St. Paul. So they call these people. They put it on their Facebook and Twitter that we caught X amount of people. So I was like, you know what? I've seen a lot of cops out there driving around with their seatbelts. This is kind of wrong.
All the time.
Yeah. So I went and grabbed my camera, and I stood outside of the St. Paul Police Department, right out back, That's where St. Paul police keep coming through. The entrance to the Ramsey County Jail is right there. So you have St. Paul, Ramsey County, Maplewood, Roseville. I think that's it in Ramsey County that I saw. Coming in and out of there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took a position right on a street corner right there with my camera and started filming police officers driving. None of them were wearing their seatbelts. Not a single cop had their seatbelt on. And
ballpark how many cops number wise?
Oh geez,
dozen, 2 dozen.
Probably a dozen, because I wasn't out there that long, and I mean, not all of them made my video because
that's enough to make a point.
Yeah, it was just the ones that really talked to me, and they just come up and talk to me,
Right.
And there's people, there was cops that actually recognized me too. There was one from Roseville. He knew exactly who I was.
I wanted your autograph. Right?
Well, I filmed him before.
You signed my cop ahead sign.
Yeah. So one officer had a problem with this, and he actually came up on me really quick in his SUV, stopped right in front of me, got out, and he's like, give me your ID. And I'm like, well, am I being detained? He's like, yeah. And I can't remember how the conversation ensued, but this was a Memorial Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that if I didn't give him my ID, I was going to be in jail for 3 days. This was a Friday, and I wouldn't have gotten to court until Tuesday.
Right.
So I handed over my ID. I wasn't worried at that point in time because I was going to put this on YouTube.
Just to clarify, what you're saying is you knew that you didn't have to.
Yeah, I knew I didn't have to. I was not committing a crime. There's no legal reason for him to detain me, but I just didn't want to spend 3 days in jail. I really didn't.
Same.
Everybody has their own points. Some people will spend that time in jail. I got stuff to do. I have a family. I have a job. I have things I need to get done, and I just couldn't afford to, at that point in time, to spend 3 days in jail. Today, I'd be cool with that,
Right.
But yeah. So he runs my ID. He gets his camera out. He takes pictures of me, and I don't care. I have nothing to hide, and I'm gonna put this on YouTube. It's gonna be pretty obvious who I am,
right,
very quickly. So he told me I was trespassing and it was private property. And like I said, I wasn't going to argue with him because I didn't want to, go to jail for 3 days.
And remind people where you're at. You're on a sidewalk.
I was on a sidewalk, a public sidewalk, right outside of the police station. I mean, it's just, it was really obvious, but I just didn't have the time to fight it at that point in time.
Right.
So, I walked off. I put that video on YouTube, and actually the chief of police at the time agreed to a meeting with me. The chief of police was there, the assistant chief, a lot of his staff, and the chief apologized to me for his officer's actions.
Did you do that on camera, on video?
No, but I do have audio of it.
You do have audio?
Yeah, I do have audio of it. I wanted it more of a professional meeting, just me and the crew, and
right.
I pretty much led that meeting, which was kind of neat to have. A room full of people, a room full of cops.
Now describe that to me, because
sure.
It can't be. It had to feel like daggers coming at you.
Oh, it did.
Like
it was
walking
like,
in the door, like every eye had to be on you.
Seriously, it was like walking to the lion's den. I mean, it was all of these police officers just eyeballing me, and then they had me go sit in this conference room, and all of a sudden, geez, half a dozen of the bigwigs, the chief, the assistant chief, the public information officer, the high up staff, all sat at the conference table with me, and I was in charge. I led that conversation.
Holy shit!
It was really amazing.
It's like a surreal moment.
It was a surreal moment, and I actually made a lot of contacts that day. Everybody was giving me their cards. Which actually have been useful. So
that group at the table, what was their attitude genuine? Do you think that they feel like they were just doing this as a kind of jumping through, like they knew you had them kind of in a corner, so they were trying to, this is like a PR thing? Did it feel like legitimate in any kind of way, or what?
It did feel legitimate, Okay. I mean,
that's good to hear.
The chief at the time was the old chief. not Todd Axtell. I can't remember the old chief's name, but he did seem like legitimately concerned that one of his officers did something like that. So and I mean, they extended a lot to me. They said, if you ever want to go on a ride along or take one of our Citizens Academy courses, we'll make that happen. Like he was very very understanding of this and very apologetic. So I actually have a lot of respect for him for doing that.
Interesting. Yeah. Holy cow, man. I mean, what about they were more concerned about the detaining you for an unlawful reason.
Right.
What did they say about the seatbelt part of things?
Oh, yeah, they made sure that part of their policy would be enforced. That's part of their policy, that they have to wear seatbelts. That's also part of the law.
Right.
The only people that don't have to wear seatbelts are people that make frequent stops. Parking enforcement cops, they don't have to wear seatbelts because they make frequent stops. It's all the time. It's not like a normal cop where they drive around a lot, and maybe they'll make a stop every hour or so.
Right.
Or
I can understand it from like a tactical perspective. Like if you're going to a call where you anticipate you might have to jump out,
right,
at a scene quickly, and you want to be prepared. But
sure,
that's not what you described.
No,
these are just guys getting ready to go out on a patrol or whatever. They're not going to respond to a high speed to a call or anything like.
No,
well, you should have your belt on. You're driving high speed, but
right. But
whatever.
yeah. I mean, I totally understand if you're going to take your seatbelt, half a block away. Right. For hopping out to like a
lot of what these are doing, because you and I both own retired squad cars, and they have the little noisy bell on them too when you don't click your seatbelt. Like it doesn't do the same as like a normal car. Like I don't know, maybe yours is different, but mine is set up like if I don't do my seatbelt, it won't go off immediately, but after some time it will give me like a ding ding.
Yeah, I don't have that on my model.
No.
No.
Well, here's what the cops do. Like you'll see them, like they'll click it and then they'll sit on the seatbelt.
Yep, I've seen a lot of that.
So not only are they not doing it, they're like intentionally like, oh, it's not like I forgot. No, I'm just making it so I don't even have to hear the little annoying seatbelt dinging sound. Right.
Yeah. So I mean, they made it very clear that their policy would be enforced from then on, and I have seen a lot of St. Paul officers wearing their seatbelts now. I think for the month after that, anytime I pulled up next to a St. Paul police officer, or even a Ramsey County sheriff, they'd show me that they're wearing the seatbelt. They would demonstrate that they had their seatbelt on, which was really interesting. I mean, it kind of shifted the power. It really did from them having the power to like them. Being like, yep, we're wearing our seatbelts, we're following the law. It was really interesting for a little bit.
Well, what you did was you to a degree, you neutered them a little bit. Mm-hmm. You demasculated them a little bit, took away a little bit of their power.
Right.
So now the only thing they've got left, at least in that specific area, is to make a joke about it, and then that's the only way they can have any kind of power is to be a smart ass about it after the fact. But that's telling, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird. Putting a bully in their place is weird. Okay. You didn't get arrested then because you intentionally didn't want to get arrested.
Right.
But there was a time where you did get arrested. Right?
I did not get arrested.
You didn't get arrested?
No, I got a citation.
You got a citation?
Yes.
But it did result in a trial.
It did result in a trial, yes.
So tell me about that. And where was this as far as in your span of time as a cop blocker? Was this early in it? Was this middle? Where were you at as far as?
This was really early in my my cop blocking.
Okay, so this is kind of an early trial of not just the legal trial. I mean, trial as in trial by as you're learning what to do and how to deal with things and things like that.
Right. Yeah, this was very, very, very early on in my activism.
Right.
It really was.
And also, I guess, what year would you say this was?
Oh, this was
ballpark.
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
So that doesn't seem like a long time ago, but even back 6 years ago, cop blocking was still kind of in an infancy form, right?
Yes, I mean this was before Mike Brown and everything. I mean this was before it became mainstream that people heard about this. This was kind of one of those taboo things that people really didn't understand what was going on when I first started doing it.
And I'm thinking that now 6 or whatever years ago, cops are still trying to understand it,
right?
And how to deal with it, and policies are still kind of trying to be figured out of what we need to do, and some of it is simple ignorance.
Right.
At a time. It's not just they don't want to deal with things. They just don't know how to react.
Right.
So it's very early.
Yes.
But go ahead and tell how that all went down and what happened and what was the result.
Yeah. So I came home from work one day. I was working a second shift at the time. So I think I got off like 11 o'clock-ish, something like that. And I came home. I was having a cigarette out on the front bench outside of my apartment building before I headed in for the night to go to sleep.
Were you at least 30 feet away from the entrance? Because that's
I was not. I was probably 3 feet away from the entrance.
Oh my God!
I know. So I was sitting there having a cigarette. I at that point in time I carried my big handy cam everywhere I went. It was one of those big silver Sony handy cams that are everywhere. And I'm sitting in the
park. Would it be cool if you could get a sponsorship? Cop blocking got so important and powerful that all these video camera companies were treating cop blockers like athletes. You were the Michael Jordan of cop blocking, and instead of shoes, you had your signature camera. I'm Andrew Henderson, and when I cop block, I've got these camera. This is the camera that I choose.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. I'm sorry.
All right. So yeah. So I'm sitting on this park bench having a cigarette, and two paramedics walk out the door. There's an individual and then
a pair of paramedics.
An individual. He had kind of a beaten up face, he just got smacked up or something like that, or punched or something. And there was some bruising on his face. And then there was a couple of Ramsey County Sheriff's deputies. And I didn't understand what was going on in this situation. I just saw them all walk out. And there's this canopy above my entryway to my apartment, and it's lit up. It's 30 feet long. It's so people can get out of the rain and load into their cars, whatever. So they're standing underneath this canopy about 25 something feet away from me, and they start patting this guy down. The Ramsey County Sheriff's deputies start patting this guy down. So I take out my camera and I hit record, and I record, and they pat this guy down. The guy smoked a cigarette and went in the back of an ambulance. Nothing happened. There was no misconduct. Nobody acted inappropriately on either side, really. So I put my camera away, and I was just finishing my cigarette, and a Ramsey County Sheriff's deputy walked up to me, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I was filming." And she said, "If I end up on YouTube, I'm going to be upset." And I had my audio recorder going for that part. And
I can't remember. That sounds familiar. I think I've heard this now. Is this on your YouTube channel?
Yes, it's on the end of my videos, and on every video of mine, that's how it ends. Okay,
that's part of your editing intro outro thing.
Yes,
okay,
it's part of my outro. So, so she takes away my camera, just snatches it right out of my hand.
She committed a crime.
She committed a crime.
Strong arm robbery.
Strong arm robbery, right? She was armed. I couldn't fight back.
Exactly.
And she said she was taking it for evidence. And I'm like, evidence of what? What did I do? I'm sitting here on my bench, on my property, smoking a cigarette. I'm doing nothing illegal. So she takes away my camera, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, can I at least get a receipt for this thing? And she does give me a receipt, and it's, basically just a case number. She writes her name and a case number on it. I'm like, what the hell? And then the security guard from my apartment comes out, and he's like, "Yeah, I saw you out here recording." I'm like, "Yep, you know me. You see me in the gym in the gym in the apartment before. We got a gym, the pool, whatever." I'm like, "You've seen me before." He's like, "Yeah, I've seen you." He's like, "But I don't know who you are." And I'm like, "I don't know who you are. I'm not giving you my name. I got a key card. I can get in this place.
Right.
I have keys in my apartment. I'm not going to tell you who I am.
Fucking security guards. I always want to side with the cops, just automatically.
Yeah. But yeah. I got my receipt from my camera. I went inside.
And did she give you a citation though?
She didn't give me a citation at the time. This work is really interesting. Okay.
Holy fuck, this is weird.
So I go inside. I'm like, what the hell? There's nothing I can do right now. I'm not gonna fight a cop.
Right.
We all know how that would end.
Right.
Right. So get up the next morning, go down to the Ramsey County Sheriff's office, and I say, "Yo, where's my camera?" They didn't know. They had one of their supervisors talk to me, and this video is on my YouTube channel too. Supervisor came out and said, "We know nothing about this incident." I'm like, what? Turns out she brought the camera home with her overnight.
And she made dirty pornographic videos.
I would not want to see that. She was not the most attractive woman on the force, I'll tell you that much.
Just for academic purposes, because it's Cop, I would like to see it. But I feel your point.
So she took it home overnight, and then when she came back to work the next day, she didn't check the camera into evidence.
So that's another crime, right?
That's another crime, yeah.
That's like a big one. Like that's like some mishandling of evidence or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, and yeah, she put in a report that she didn't know, that she tried to review the footage. She didn't know what she was doing. She was pressing buttons on my camera. Yeah, and when she brought it to work the next day, she didn't even check it into evidence for 3 days. It just sat around, floating around the sheriff's office. So about a week later, I get a citation in the mail charging me with obstruction of justice and something else. I can't place it off the top of my head. Obstruction and something. Anyways, so I had to go to court over this, right? I show up at court.
And these are misdemeanors?
These are petty misdemeanors.
Okay.
So I show up for court and I say, "Yo, I did nothing wrong," and there was actually a really nice lawyer down there. I can't remember his name. He was, not my lawyer, not a public defender, just a lawyer for somebody else. And he overheard what was going on in my case. And
man, I wish you would know his name.
Yeah. I wish I could give him a shout out, but I just can't remember.
Okay.
And he talked to the prosecuting attorney, and so the prosecuting attorney, wanted it continued. And I was like, "No, I'm not guilty." But of course, the woman in the muumuu agreed with the prosecuting attorney.
You translate, that's the judge.
The judge, yes. So it got continued. They had to write a whole new report, supplemental reports and stuff. And what they said is that I was interfering with the ambulance crew. Which was a total lie. I was sitting.
Did they have any statements from the ambulance crew stating that?
They did. One of the ambulance crew people made a statement. No, both of them made a statement. One was a female. She said she didn't see anything. She was inside the ambulance.
Okay.
The whole time. The male said that I was right there and I wouldn't put the camera down, and some other stuff. I can't remember what all he said.
But wait, they didn't say anything. This whole thing transpired, and they never said anything till after the fact.
Correct. Till after the fact. So, and
fucking kangaroo ass justice system.
Well, it turns out that the male, the male ambulance employee, really hardcore police fan. I looked up his Facebook page. He has Blue Lives Matter everywhere.
Oh, Jesus
Thin Blue
Christ.
Line. Former military. I mean, so he's gonna side with the police no matter what.
Right.
I mean, he just has that.
What do you want me to say? Where do I sign?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So I had to go to court from the day I got that citation to my last day in court. It was 18 months.
How many appearances do you have to make?
Once a month. Once a month I was in court.
Roughly how many hours of your time invested in this?
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure
50, 60 hours.
I'm sure you did like research independently. I'm sure you did.
I did, but one good thing. I'm going to get to the conclusion in a second here.
Okay.
One good thing is I made a video about this, which is on my YouTube channel, and the ACLU stepped in and provided me with representation. That was an amazing time. I mean, I'd walk into court every time, and I'd have 6 lawyers behind me.
Holy
Can you
fuck.
imagine how that felt? Like
I bet the attitude of that court changed a little bit too.
It did. It very much did, because they took this seriously. I mean, the ACLU, was like, no, drop these charges, right? And
holy shit, man!
The whole time they were offering me this plea deal. Okay, if I pled guilty to disorderly conduct, is obstruction of justice and disorderly conduct. If I pled guilty to disorderly conduct and paid a $50 fine, that's it.
You said no, right?
I said no. This is my First Amendment right. I did nothing wrong. So, I mean, we were going to court every single month, and I feel so bad for my mom because she showed up with me every time, and of course she had to buy a new dress for every appearance. So she stocked her closet pretty well.
Right.
So that was, but yeah, I mean, it ended up going to trial. A 3-day trial.
I'm really surprised they didn't say, all right, we got to throw this out.
Right, for a $50 fine. And the city of Little Canada spent over $8,000 prosecuting me.
Is that inaccurate?
Yes,
you looked into
I have all of the...
I'm surprised it's not more than that, actually. That seems cheap.
Yeah, so am I. But yeah, well, that's just the city of Little Canada. We're not talking about the rest of Ramsey County, the taxpayers for the time in court. This is just what they paid the city prosecutor to prosecute me, $8,000.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't count the amount of time that, every other person involved in this case, cop hours.
Correct.
The person typing their court record,
exactly,
the people filing papers, the judge, everything else.
It goes way above that, but I don't have the documentation on that. But I do have the documentation on my Facebook page about how much they spent prosecuting me. I have it all listed.
That's got to be 20, 30 G's. In that range, at least.
Yeah, it has
when you actually count every penny everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you got to pay witnesses, whatever.
There you go, taxpayers.
Yeah. To recover a $50 fine.
Next time you hit a pothole, remember this.
Yes. Exactly. So it ended up in a 3-day trial. It was nuts. So
did they call the goddamn ambulance driver in to testify?
They did call the ambulance driver. The female did not show up because I think she had a problem lying about
somebody
that.
with like a squirting blood injury squirts AIDSy blood in his eye.
The female ambulance driver didn't show up. I think she couldn't bring herself to lie. She could not bring herself to talk against the Ramsey County Sheriff's deputy or her coworker. So she just didn't do it. The person that they that I supposedly was 2 feet away from filming or whatever. No, he didn't show up.
Well, where's the video that you were filming? Did they delete that?
When I got my camera back, there was nothing on that camera.
So these motherfuckers.
Yes.
These motherfuckers.
Yes. So I mean, the ambulance driver testified. I testified.
They probably rubbed their dicks on your camera. Right?
They probably did.
If I would be like, we're gonna rub our dick all over this thing.
Right in the eye hole. Right.
Exactly. I got pink eye again. The fuck is this?
So yeah, 3-day trial. The jury deliberated for less time than it took me to walk to get a cup of coffee. Came back to court. They said not guilty. First Amendment right. Wasted all my time. Wasted taxpayers' money. I don't care about my time.
Now, how does this work? Were you at that point when it's came to? Can you turn around and reverse sue this? Well, you wouldn't really be. You'd be suing the taxpayers, but could you sue for time invested in this and for her anything?
Yes, yeah, I can, and I mean that's something that's on the table right now.
Oh, so it's not dead. It can still happen.
Yes, it can still happen. That's it's.
Man, I
don't want to say too much about that right now.
Fair enough. I hope you do. But now it's dropped. It's done, at least from that end of it.
Yep. I was found not guilty by a jury of my peers. And I mean, it was all these college-educated, jurors. It was 95% white.
Right.
I mean, it's,
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
That's insane. Just the gall alone. When you don't even factor in the wasted man hours and financial, just the attitude, and that's all it was. It's arrogance and ego, and it's like we're gonna teach him a fucking lesson. You don't fucking do this over nothing. Nothing. There's wherever that happened at within that 3-block radius. There's probably 3 or 4 other security cameras filming, the event, not intentionally, but whatever. It's not like she wasn't being filmed anywhere. You know what I'm saying? She wanted to have a power trip with you. She wanted to, put you in your place and let you know that She was running things.
And you know,
that's sad.
This
It's
is
just
honestly
fucking sad.
right. This is why I'm so passionate about recording police. If someone was there
Right.
to record that, it could have saved all that. You know, it could have saved me the time. It could have saved taxpayers that money. If someone was out there with a camera, and that's why whenever
that's
I
cop
see the
blocking
police,
inception right there. Like
Yeah.
you film a cop blocker getting arrested for cop blocking.
yeah. So that's why I film whenever I see. I could save someone that time. I could save the taxpayers, you know, tens of thousands of dollars.
Jesus.
You know, just by having a camera, just by having my phone out and recording.
It's powerful. It is.
It really is.
It is.
So I mean that actually strengthened my want to film police. Because I can save somebody else. I mean,
What about charges for the cop?
none. Of course not.
That's
And
tough.
Here's the messed
Not to
up
worry
part.
about the hiding the evidence and all
Right.
that other shit.
I honestly think that she was worried about being charged or something. So she retired. Okay,
Oh, she did.
she retired. She was making like $120,000 a year. So she
What?
Yeah, I know, $120,000 a year. Tell me about it. I don't even make half that much. So she retired and she gets a pension on that, right? But she came back to the sheriff's department as a bailiff. So she's collecting her retirement plus making another paycheck.
How is that? That sounds double dippy to me.
It sounds double dippy, doesn't it?
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
These
No punishment for her.
legal fucking mafia, man. Government is. All right, we're getting kind of long on the tooth as far as time goes here. So I got one big story we want to close on, but before we do that, let's talk about your cop block training.
Yeah, definitely.
So what are you doing with that? How does somebody get involved in getting some training for cop blocking, and what does it kind of consist of?
Sure. Yeah. I mean. So after this trial, I was thinking to myself, like, I gotta have other people doing this kind of stuff. I can't be the only one out there, you know, recording police and holding them accountable. So I actually hooked up with Communities United Against Police Brutality out of Minneapolis, and taught cop watch classes with them. I've taught them in different communities, at churches, at festivals, at you know, different outings. I mean, if there was a school that wanted a training, we'd go there and we'd educate, you know, young people on how to do this. We'd talk at, you know, colleges, and it was great. And I've since slowed down because I have, you know, I'm back in college right now, working full time. You know, just life is going on.
Right.
But for a good period of time, my entire focus was just educating others how to do this. And I still do trainings once in a while. Like if there's an organization that wants a training, I'm going to be there because I want people to gain this knowledge, to help their community and other communities. You know, that is probably what's most important to me right now, is sharing the information that I've learned, the experiences that I've had with other people, to make them the best cop watchers they can be,
Right.
the best cop blockers they can be. You know, I want people to do better than what I've done. I want people to learn from my mistakes and be able to go out there and save their community in a much better way than I did when I first started.
Again, it needs to become popular, man. It needs to become like a mainstream thing. And then, like, you have like Boy Scouts have like a badge for cop blocking, like a cop blocking badge. And then, like, you get that could be like a class that you could take in school, like cop blocking 101 kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, there's certain reasons why I think that, you know, people should be doing this. I mean, you know, like body cameras. People think that's the solution, and that, you know, people don't need to be out there filming because cops have body cameras. Well, I mean, if you look at the case of like Justine Diamond, those cops both had body cameras on them. Neither of them turned it on.
As a reminder, Justine Diamond, we just talked about her on the episode where I interviewed retired cop Chuck. That was the lady who called the police to report what she thought was a possible sexual assault happening in the area. Police came. She apparently touched their car as they were driving down the alley to get their attention, and one of the officers shot her. They didn't have their cameras on.
Yeah. I mean, you know, so I don't trust cops turning on their body cams.
Yeah.
And if they
it's worse than that. When the last few years, I know L.A. was one of the areas it was happening when the push for cameras was kind of first starting to happen. Cops were literally vandalizing their own equipment because they didn't want to have to have the cameras.
Yeah, they were breaking it, losing it.
Again, committing crimes.
Right, committing crimes to commit more crimes. You know, and if they do record something, it can take years before that footage becomes public.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the things we want to talk about. The one that just came out, and I posted it on my personal Facebook page, and there's so many of these stories. So I understand if you don't know which dog shooting this was, but a video just came out the other day of a police officer who was attempting to shoot a dog. He was breaking up a domestic argument. A dog got excited, and he was attempting to shoot the dog, and in the process shot the lady who was there on the scene and killed her. And that was 3 years ago. The video just now came out. That was his body camera.
3 years. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. And that's why I have this push to have citizens record police, because it wouldn't take 3 years. It could be the same day, or it could even be live right at that moment. I mean, real time. What's going on?
Yeah.
That will be preserved forever. That can't be hidden away by policing agencies. It's right there. I mean, the live streaming has just changed the game completely.
Yeah, definitely. I haven't been pulled over in quite a while. Knock on wood. But that's one thing I want to get in the habit of. Starting a live streaming recording, especially now doing the stories that I've been doing recently. It might be a really good idea to get me some kind of setup in the car where it's like a single punch type thing that, whatever they're stopping me for, boom, it just automatically goes to live feed, so I don't have to, figure out what the deal is all about. Anything else about the cop block training that you wanted to cover? Is that all?
Just that I think it's really important for people to do. I mean, it's become a lot more mainstream than when I first started doing it. Like I said, when I first started doing it, it was like taboo. Mm-hmm. And now with stuff like Mike Brown,
kind of like anal sex was in the 80s.
Now it's just.
I was like, first date thing.
Yeah, everybody does it. Yeah. Justin Diamond, all these people.
You're counting on your fingers. You don't have enough fingers to count all the people murdered by police.
Right.
Just in the last few years.
Yeah, and it's becoming more prevalent, and people are understanding why citizens need to do this. Why citizens need to watch out for each other, not only themselves but for each other, and to have that objective record of what really transpired during that police-citizen interaction.
Right. An argument I've been using kind of recently was it's the same argument for having police. When you say, well, we don't need police, we just take care of ourselves. Well, it's nice, a lot of people say it's nice to have law enforcement there because it then just the presence prevents crime, right?
Right.
If there's a police officer there, it's going to make you think twice about, that's why sometimes you'll see like police cars just parked randomly, like at places of high crime areas. There's no cops there, but they just park a cop car there and leave it there because just that idea of it there. Right. It's the same psychology in reverse. If you're filming and some guys are holding a camera, then cops are just, it's the psychology of it.
Right.
They know people are filming, so maybe they're going to maintain themselves or, at least attempt to hold themselves at a higher standard, or at least be aware of that now, or consider the risk of doing something wrong.
Right.
And I don't think especially with it's different, it's like, yeah, you can film a garbage man because, he's in public, but what are you doing? Yeah. This is a whole different thing.
Right.
This is somebody, and this is something I got into kind of, discussing with Chuck, the retired cop who I just had a couple episodes ago. This job is way different than any other job. Different, I think, than even the military, because these people are tasked to, they're given a firearm, a tool that used to end a life, and the authority to end a life.
Right.
That's unique to any other job in this country, right?
Right.
There's other forms of law enforcement within there, but you know what I'm saying. There needs to be a more stringent. If we're going to have that system of law enforcement, there needs to be a more stringent standard for them.
Right.
Right.
Well, you know, in my mind, cops are not the ones that should be dishing out punishment.
Oh, not at all.
Right. I hear that all the time. Like, all these cops are arresting bad people. Well, yeah, they might be bad people, and I'm not sticking up for. I'm not saying, oh no, everybody's good, but cops' job is not to dish out punishment. A cop's job is to arrest and help prosecute that person, not to punish them. If
they are a step in the process of the legal system, they are not the whole legal system. And the whole, and if you to grab somebody, detain somebody, determine if they're right or wrong, and then punish them, you've become the whole legal system.
Right, and that's a horrible.
When we were talking beforehand, you used the example of Judge Dredd.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it is, and we don't want that.
I don't want that.
That's terrifying.
No, it is. I mean, one person deciding somebody else's fate. That is a very, very scary thing to me.
Right.
To have one person be able to decide, is this person guilty off a small amount of evidence, if any evidence, and dish out that punishment. That is really, really scary to me. And I do not want to see that whatsoever.
And if that's not bad enough, right? And that's plenty bad. That oftentimes it's not even that calculating, what they're doing. Oftentimes it's simple bullying and just wanting to be kind of violent and hurt somebody. They don't give a fuck if they are, teaching a lesson or anything like that. It's taking and I'm not saying this as I'm speculating. I've used this example before. I living here in Minnesota, I've seen it multiple times. The example I always go to, I was in North Minneapolis around some friends. And I'm not going to say that these friends were, doing everything legally, right? They were, doing some things that were wrong. Police came for whatever reason. One of the guys was arrested. He had was it a warrant or did he get caught with something? One of the two. Whatever. But he was in handcuffs. He was a younger guy. I think he was like 17 or 18. And he was lippy, saying a few things.
Yeah.
But not like fighting the cops. And the cops had, again, handcuffed and punched him. In handcuffs.
Right.
Okay, you can't do that.
No.
I don't give a fuck if you've got fucking, a serial killer right there who's got, you caught him just finishing off his 100th murder, right? You've got the handcuffs on there. There's no fucking threat. You take him to the fucking jailhouse, you book him, and you put him through the court system. If we don't maintain this idea of the legal system for everybody, regardless if it's a crazy killer or just the average person with a ticket, then you just throw the whole fucking system out.
Exactly.
There's no legitimacy at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just an arbitrary system that shouldn't be followed by anybody.
Yeah. I don't know. All right, let's finish with your big win.
My big win.
Your big win.
My
your
crowning
cop
achievement.
blocking home run, your grand slam, your crowning achievement, your jewel, as of now, your jewel in the crown of cop blocking. And this is, again, one of these unique times where I'm kind of a little bit in the story because I actually watched this unfold. You and I were talking via the internet on a Facebook chat or whatever when this was happening. So I got to see it kind of firsthand. But you tell the story and you kind of start with what it was surrounding, what this all kind of was attached to.
Definitely. So there was a march planned in Minneapolis on Martin Luther King Day by Black Lives Matter, where they were just going to march across a bridge to honor Martin Luther King's march across. I can't remember which bridge.
I can't think of it.
We should know our history, shouldn't we?
Yeah, it's right on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. No.
Yeah, but yeah, they were.
You talk, I'll look it up.
Sure, they were honoring Martin Luther King's march across the bridge, so they were going to have a march themselves. And this was well planned. I mean, it wasn't a surprise march. It was in the news a couple days before. And I mean, I have no problem with that whatsoever. People need to celebrate, peacemakers, and I'm great with that. I mean, Martin Luther King.
Edmund Pettus Bridge.
He what was that?
Edmund Pettus.
Yes,
Bridge.
Pettus. Okay, you were right.
Yeah, I know it was a P word.
All right. I mean, people should celebrate the peacemakers. Martin Luther King was a peacemaker. He wanted to unite people. Celebrate him. Great. That's an excellent thing. And so I came home from work. I was working second shift again, and I was scrolling through Facebook, and the St. Paul Pioneer Press had a story about this planned march across the bridge, and there was a comment by an individual named I believe his avatar said Jeff Roth. And I knew this Jeff Roth from running Minnesota Cop Block's Facebook page. He would often comment on stuff there. And I knew he was a cop for the St. Paul Police Department by the name of Jeff Rothacker.
Oh, you knew it already?
I knew it already.
Okay.
And I had proof that it was him. I mean, there was... You could trace back everything on his Facebook page to, his email address as a cop. He was very, very sloppy, and he'd leave comments, and I wouldn't care because they were just stupid comments like, oh, all you cop blockers hate cops, F you, blah blah blah, and I let him have his little temper tantrums because I just didn't care.
Right.
I didn't care at the time. He wasn't threatening anybody. He wasn't advocating violence. He was just being a little bitch. So I was scrolling through the on my Facebook feed the story that the Pioneer Press had about this planned march, and one of the comments was his, and it said something to the likes of, just run these protesters over, drive a few blocks away and tell them that they were attacking your car, and no jury is gonna convict you for that because of things that have happened in other states.
So essentially providing instructions,
Yes.
A police officer providing instructions how to commit homicide, how to murder somebody, vehicular homicide,
Yep.
homicide.
And encouraging crime and how to get away with it. So I screenshotted this, and
You sent it to me. You sent it to me, or you drew my attention when we were chatting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I sent it to you at the time. Like,
stunned.
look at this,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, and so right after that, right after I screenshotted this comment, I called the St. Paul Police Department. I asked to speak to a supervisor, and I said, "Hey, how do you feel about one of your employees saying something like this?" And he said, "Well, how do you know it's one of my employees?" I just know.
Right.
I have the proof. It doesn't matter, but how would you feel if one of your employees did this? And he's like, well, he just really avoided the question. I can't remember his full answer, but this was one of the most amazing things I did because I recorded every step of my process on this. And it turned out to be like a 40-minute video on my YouTube channel. But every single process, every single phone call I made, every single visit I made. So what happened is, he took down my name, he took down my phone number, and the Internal Affairs called me in. And the Internal Affairs said, bring in whatever you got, bring in all the information you have. And I traced it back to him.
Internal Affairs. A question about that.
Sure.
Is that part of the police department?
It is.
So it's like an office within the department. I didn't know if it's how together it is.
Yes.
Okay.
They are police employees, and the horrible thing about
Are they uniformed
affairs,
cops, or are they?
No, not really. They carry badges and guns, but they dress in pretty much civilian clothes.
Okay.
And the most horrible thing about
are they exclusively just dealing with cop crime?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, just dealing with misbehavior of police.
Okay.
Or crimes of police.
So the Minneapolis ones are very busy.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
and here's the horrible thing about Internal Affairs is that it's a rotating position. You spend some time there, you go to somewhere else. Someone else comes in, spend some time in Internal Affairs, goes to somewhere else.
Like other departments?
Not other departments, but other fields within the police department. So you might be a detective for homicide this year. Next year, you could be working internal affairs, and then you could be transferred to.
That kind of defeats the
something
purpose.
else. It really does, because you're gonna be investigating people that might be in charge of you in your next assignment, or they might be partnered with you in your next assignment.
See, there needs to be some, like, I don't even want them in the same building.
Right. Yeah, it should be a totally separate organization. It really should be. But no, it's your buddies that you might have to work with one day. Or they might be supervising you one day. So it makes it really hard to make a fair judgment, in my opinion.
Right.
So yeah, Internal Affairs called me. They said, bring in your stuff. Come on down. Talk to us. We want to know about this. So I did something I've never seen anybody do before. I wore a body cam into Internal Affairs. I strapped a body cam onto my chest, and I recorded the entire conversation, and I laid it out all for them of how I knew it was him and how I traced it back.
Did they know you were at the camera?
They knew I was recording. Oh, yeah. That, it wasn't hidden. I record very openly.
So what was that? Did you like, hey, I'm going to record?
No, I didn't even say anything. Like, it's
Did they
my right.
acknowledge it? Did
Yeah.
they?
Oh, yeah. Because, they were asking me questions, but they didn't know if I was live streaming or not. So they were like, do you want to, give me your phone number, or do you want to write it down because you have the camera? And I was like, no, I can edit this out later. I'm not live streaming right now, at least not to the public. I'll live stream privately to my own stuff. In case something happens to me, someone else has the password, and they can open up the live stream and they can figure out what happened. If something were to be to happen to me,
that's a good idea.
I trust an individual, yeah, and that's something that I teach during Cop Watch training. And that's So yeah, I recorded this entire video. I mean, this every step of my process doing this, which I have never seen before. I've never seen anybody go into Internal Affairs and have a conversation like that and lay it all down of how they did this. And I did that to educate other people, so that other people.
I haven't watched that video yet. I got to watch that one.
You got to watch that video, so that other people in the same situation can follow the steps that I took, or even create better steps.
Anything surprising about that part of the process? Was there anything shocking to you?
I was really surprised that they didn't have a problem with me wearing a body cam anymore.
Yeah, me too.
I really was. But I edited out stuff like they said, well, how do you know it's him? And I could say, I traced it back. Like, he has pictures of his kids on his personal his avatar Facebook page, and it matches up to his wife. And here's the same kids. And of course, I wouldn't put the kids in my video, because it's not the kids that are to blame for this whatsoever.
Right.
I didn't put his wife in there because his wife has nothing to do with it. It was just that officer.
And he really doesn't understand what the idea of anonymous troll account is.
No, he was really just an idiot.
Jesus Christ.
So they started investigating him, and
hold on, let me ask you. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. These questions come. So, first question. What were their attitudes like about this? Did they seem generally, kind of my same question, like when you had the sit down with the chief, did they feel generally concerned?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so it wasn't like they were just kind of, jerking you off a little bit?
No, and there's a couple reasons I think they were generally concerned. One was because one of their cops could have said, to hurt people, to break the law, and how to get away with it. I think that's a huge concern. To a police department, just for liability purposes alone.
Right.
I mean, and second of all, I had other videos that went to the news before that were published So
even if they didn't agree with you and what you're doing, they at least needed to take you seriously?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they needed to at least take me seriously, because they knew that video was getting uploaded as soon as I got home.
Gotcha. So my next question would be, and if they're taking it seriously, then maybe they were really doing this, but I'm wondering, were they trying to feel you out if you really knew it could prove that it was him? If, they knew it was him, he's like, yeah, it was me, but let's try to find out, let's make sure we can, if there's any plausible deniability here, let's fill him out, see where we're at legally wise. Did you get any sense of that? Like they were trying to... No, I think they were just generally concerned. I mean, it was kind of, it's a big thing for them. I mean, it's a huge thing for a cop to be saying something like that. Yeah.
But they did an investigation on him. He admitted that it was him.
Okay.
He was actually I want to say vice president of the St. Paul Police Union.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So he resigned from his position as St. Paul Police Union vice president. And I think
Surprised
it was...
they didn't give him a promotion.
I know.
The king of the police union.
And I think it was about a week later that he resigned his position at the St. Paul Police Department.
Now, was that resigned under duress? Like, were they saying, do we know if they were saying, like, look, we're going to get rid of your ass, you're done?
There's no documentation on that.
Because I know the city, like, the mayor was in on this.
Yes. Yeah, the mayor definitely, I mean, it was a huge thing.
Yeah.
The thing is, if he didn't retire, he would have lost his pension if he got fired.
Okay.
So I think he retired to save face. Plus, if he retired before the investigation was over, that investigation would remain private.
All right. Well, let's reflect on that for a second.
Yes.
The fact that you can... is that a crime? I don't know if that's a crime, telling somebody how to commit a crime. But the fact that a law enforcement officer was essentially giving an instruction on how to commit crime and thus encouraging it, but still collect a pension, there should be certain things. And this kind of goes... And again, I know I speak from a point of bias, and I try to always admit this. I'm always biased on these issues. That said, these are police officers. They need to be held to at least the same standard as a citizen, but I think a degree higher, just because there's a degree of allotted privilege being a police officer.
Yes.
And that you have to maintain and earn. And if you do some shit like this, your pension should go the fuck out the window.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's an incredible responsibility. It's like being a priest. It's an incredible responsibility. You're placed in a position of leadership and trust within your community. You have a moral obligation to be better.
Right.
That's how I feel.
And on that, I think there should be just like how there's like an enhancement to punishment, like if you use a firearm, like there's an armed criminal action.
Sure.
Or there's also
a hate crime.
Yep. That if you're a cop and you commit a crime, there should be an enhancement to that crime.
Right. Because know you're supposed to know the law.
Not only that, but you're just the trust violation and everything else. I mean,
right.
I'm not wrong. I mean, we're both speaking from a point of bias, so you're probably going to agree with me, but I don't feel like I'm wrong here.
No.
Right?
No.
I don't want to make it harder for people to do things, and I understand a lot of times. I know for a fact there's situations where cops have been accused of things that they didn't do. I know that. I'm not.
Sure.
I live in the real world. I know that, and I'm pretty sure some cops have been in trouble for some things that they didn't do.
Right.
And God, I don't want that to happen to anybody. I don't cop or otherwise.
No. It's if
but
you
there's
do
been
something,
plenty of fucking cases, man, and this being one of them right here.
Right.
This is so fucking egregious, man.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't care if you agree with Black Lives Matter and what they do or not.
Not even on the radar of the point here.
No,
right?
No,
but it could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
Anything. Any argument
to give instructions.
If a police union was protesting some conditions for police, and I was to go, hey, what we should do, we should go run up with these fucking police officers. Here's how you do it. I'm a fucking monster. I'm a cop-killing monster. It's the war on cops. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right? Fucking Black Lives Matter, they can't have a protest and say anything about bacon cooking without the fucking world wanting to, have them arrested and thrown underneath a fucking prison. But this fucking cop can, teach people how to run people over and all that.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, even if you totally disagree with what Black Lives Matter stands for, do they deserve to die for it?
Nope.
So back to the story. They investigated this guy. He admitted he did it. He resigned his position at the St. Paul Police Department, collecting his pension.
Do we know what that is? Do we know what?
I can't remember. I did look it up at one point in time.
Do we know what his salary was?
It was up there. It was. I think it was close to $100,000 a year.
Jesus.
And so
I thought cops were underpaid.
Right.
That's
yeah.
not here?
yeah. That's what I always hear is cops are one of the lowest paid. No, they're not. They make more than me. I'll tell you that much.
Holy fuck.
I don't know how much you make, but that's a little bit more than I make. Yeah. So because he retired, all of the investigation they did on him is now sealed in this file. Under Minnesota Chapter 13 Data Practices Act, that is all confidential information. So us, the public, can't find out what they discovered during that investigation about him.
So when he goes applies for other jobs, those records aren't available. Like if he was to go apply for another police job, how does that work? Do you know about that?
I don't know about that one. I'm not sure. That's well above my level of experience or knowledge.
Because I know when we were talking before, you said you looked at his LinkedIn and he's applying for jobs in the security field.
Right. But one thing that I did uncover after this was all done, I wanted to find out stuff for myself, just because I invested so much into this. So much happened during it, I mean, and this made national news. I was getting calls from like BBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, also Good Morning America. People were asking, these news agencies were asking.
I didn't know about who talked to you from Good Morning America?
I don't remember. I mean, that was such a busy week when that story broke. Did
they give you like an on-air spot, or was it just like some questions that they just reported the story about?
Yeah, just some questions. They wanted to use part of my video. That whole week was a blur. I mean, it was just phone call after phone call. I answered emails and phone calls just constantly. When if I wasn't at work or sleeping, I was answering the phone.
Jesus.
So one thing that I did wrap around is I wanted his complaint history, and that's public information. Anybody could get his complaint history.
Is this something you had to do a Freedom of Information Act thing for?
Yeah. I mean,
a simpler process.
Yeah. I mean, it's Freedom of Information Act is federal.
Okay.
Data Practices Act is statewide. Gotcha. I just wrote up a simple letter that said I am requesting Jeff Rothaker's complaint history from his day, the day he started to his last day. And I got that back, and there was 10 complaints on his record, all from other cops, and all of them were substantiated. Every single complaint against him, he was found guilty of.
What do we know what the complaints were?
It was stuff like, not handling evidence correctly, which is great. That's the type of cop we want here.
Right.
To not following orders, not just disregarding his job completely. That also is on my Facebook page somewhere. The complaints against him.
Holy cow!
I try to put this stuff out there so other people can see, what kind of person this officer was.
Have you, since this happened, have you ran into him? Have you interaction with him?
No. I'm not even sure where he's living at now.
I had put a post on Facebook right before we started here, and a lot of the questions I got were questions that we've pretty much already covered here. But one of them that maybe you have more detail about, have you had any like retribution or anything done to you or attempted to do to you, or threats or harassment or anything as a result of your activism?
Yeah, of course I have. Not really by cops, more cop supporters. I like
to call them the cop suckers.
Cop suckers.
I can't claim that. Somebody else came up with that. They're
definitely
brilliant. Thank you for coming up with that term.
So I've gotten emails from people. I remember one of them said, the day of the rope is coming. We're out to get you and stuff like that. The day of the rope. The day of the rope. I mean, just the ominous shit.
It sounds like just like a horrible dime store novel writing.
It really does. I used to get a lot. During that time, I got a lot of hate mail, a lot of hate emails, a lot of hate stuff on
any pictures, Facebook. And they draw you like hateful pictures.
No, I kind of wish they would. I mean, that it would have made it at least a little bit interesting. But right. No, I mean, it's just you're the reason that nobody wants to be a cop anymore. You're getting cops killed out there. You're just spreading hate. It's stupid stuff like that.
I fucking hate that argument. Of all the arguments, you're the war on cops. You're getting cops. I fucking hate that. Yeah. Here's how the war on cops. If there's a war on cops, this is how it happens: is cops are shooting unarmed people, and those unarmed people their dying bodies fall on the cops, and the cops die from the crushing weight of the dead people that they shot. That's the only way that there's a fucking war on cops.
Honestly, policing is safer now than it has been.
Right. And
ever.
And we're not saying for a minute. I mean, just the other day we had a cop shot with a fucking arrow. I don't really know the backstory of that one yet. I get it. There is some danger involved in being a cop, and there is some legitimate dangers, and cops do legitimately get hurt.
It's far from a war, though.
Yeah. Everyone's out there fucking planning and plotting, trying to, take down all the fucking cops violently and all that.
Many more cops were dying 20 years ago than they are today. Plus, I mean,
and those numbers, when you start throwing those numbers around, hey, guess what? You're not those big numbers of cop deaths. The majority of those are fucking traffic accidents.
They are.
And oftentimes, it's not even in fucking pursuits. It's dumb fucking cops doing dumb shit in their fucking cars.
Heart attacks.
Oh, not wearing their seatbelts. Yep. Oh, yeah, the fat fucking cops, too.
Yep. So, I mean, it's not, all these cops died from being ambushed. No, a lot of them died from just not paying attention. Ambushed by a fucking 12-pack of donuts and a fucking... getting into traffic accidents because they're paying too much attention to the electronic gear inside their car that we're not allowed to use.
Yeah. Did you hear about he's one of the founders of Napster? And he got hit and killed on his 10-speed by a cop.
Yep.
And it was I want to say it was like Seattle, Portland area, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. That sounds right.
And just recently they determined that the cop walked on because it was done in the active duty. He was on his computer. Yep. On his computer, and that's totally fine. But if we check our text message and we hit somebody, holy shit! I drive for a living and use my phone for my GPS. I cannot touch my phone at all,
right?
Unless my work vehicle's pulled over in park, then I can touch my phone,
right? But no, for some reason, badges grant them the extra right.
That's crazy. Anything else we want to add to this?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered everything pretty good. I just hope your audience has come out of this with a better understanding of what cop blocking is and why they need to do this.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I thank you for the work that you've done. I've been impressed by the work that you've done. I'm proud to be your friend, and I'm glad you're doing it. I hope you keep doing it. I hope you stay safe doing it.
Definitely. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Thank you. Well, all right. There you go. There's another episode, right? It's done. It's over. You've listened to it. Congratulations. You've done it. Now you know everything there is to know, we hope, about cop blocking, right? I hope I answered some questions. I hope Andrew answered questions that you maybe heard of this activity, heard of these weirdos with cameras out there watching the cops. You probably, had, some misconceptions. I hope we got all those cleared up. We had all your questions answered. I hope you feel more educated on what they are, who they are, why they're doing it, right? And I hope you, like me, have, at least some respect for what they're doing, right? Now, across the board, of course, I mean, you're not every cop blocker out there or self-proclaimed cop blocker is going to be as educated and as smart as Andrew, right? Because I know there's some goofballs out there that go, I'm going to go cop blocking. I'm going to have a camera. I'm going to record these pigs. I'm going to record them. I'm going to catch them doing some dumb shit. Burp, burp, burp. And sometimes those people are just goofballs. Sometimes they are. They don't know what they're doing, right? And it causes more harm than good, okay? I get it, right? And that's true with every group out there, okay? But Andrew is doing this for the right reasons. He's doing it in the most professional ways possible, and he is doing it out of a sincere desire to be helpful to his fellow citizens. Can't talk this morning. I'm sorry. So I hope you guys at least respect that. All right. And if you guys don't get it, you still don't understand. I mean, one needs only to look at the many and ever-growing pile of verified and legit stories of police officers abusing their power, their authority, hurting, stealing from, some cases framing innocent citizens, right? I mean, it's there constantly, right? There's got to be, some kind of, system of checks and balances put in place. And I think a good piece of that is citizens, watching cops, right? watching them, monitoring their behaviors, making sure they're doing their job that we pay them to do the right way, the legal way, the professional way, right? Like I say, it surprises people, I guess hearing what I say a lot, I'm not against cops. I'm not. And I'm not one of those ones that believes that there should not be any kind of law enforcement, right? I respect the idea of an ethical and moral system of law enforcement. I get it. But I want that to happen, right? I want that to be a thing. That's what I want. And I think people like Andrew doing this kind of job are definitely, steps in the right direction for helping make that happen. So, if you're out, if you're about, fortunately, so many of us now have cell phones with very powerful and easy to use cameras. If you happen to be out and you happen to see police officers stopping somebody, you maybe not have to do it to the extremes that Andrew does and in such close proximity, but maybe just pull over and take a position away and start your camera and let it roll and just see how it goes, right? And you never know. You may be helping save somebody's life or preventing, somebody from getting hurt during a stop or getting mistreated by a law enforcement officer. Or also the other side of the coin, you may end up filming something that that protects the cop. Then that happens too. A suspect could lie and make up something and say a cop did that or whatever, and the cop didn't do that, and your video may be the only thing that protects the cop. So it kind of works both ways in that deal. Is that it? Yeah. Let me remind you again, go to his website, to Andrew's website. That's thedrooks.com, thedrooks.com, THEDREWKS. Again, THEDREWKS.com, thedrooks.com. You can find anything and everything that Andrew has his hands in on that website there. Also, please, as I said before, subscribe, rate, and review to the podcast. Again, the email, filterfreeamerica@gmail.com. filterfreeamerica@gmail.com. America misspelled with a K. That's where you can send all your letters to. Letters, emails, whatever you want to call them nowadays. Ending message. I love you guys. As always, I love you. I care about you. I hope you guys are doing well in the world, wherever you're at in the world. That's another thing. Our international numbers are growing again. Hello, Sweden. I think you're one of our top outside the United States listening countries. Britain, Ireland. There's a bunch more that we have out there too. But thank all of you guys too. I'm very happy that you find this ridiculousness that I'm spitting into a microphone. I'm glad that you find this interesting and that you're checking us out. So, and I'd love to hear from you. Why don't you send me an email if you're from another country and you're listening to the Filter Free America podcast. Send me an email at filterfreeamerica@gmail.com. Let me know what you like about the show. Let me know what you're doing, where you're at. Tell me what you've got going on. Tell me how you found the podcast. I'm just curious more than anything else. But anything, if anybody sends me an email and it's good or bad, and as long as it's it pertains to the podcast and it's not some ridiculous off the wall shit, I'll read it on the show. So that's the thing. If that inspires you to write, do that. All right, that's enough time. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves and each other. Make sure you spade and neuter your pets and children. Go out in the world. Do some kind gesture to somebody. Do something nice. Be kind. Keep seeking the truth. Bye-bye.